The next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
Oh, yeah, cats and kittens, welcome back to The Commercial Break. I'm Bryan Green. This is my dear friend and the co-host of this show, Krissy Hoadley. Best to you, Krissy.
Best to you, Bryan.
Best to you out there in the podcast universe. Good to have you back in studio.
Yes.
After a little absence, short week last week, little absence. My wife was very upset with me because yesterday I mentioned that we had MRSA running around the house. And she said, what will all the people at the school think? And I said, we're covered in open wounds. What do you think they think? We have leprosy. No, I'm kidding. It's all done. It's all gone. We're all good. We've now recovered from our bout with staph and encephalitis and
Gosh,
staph
you guys
infection.
had it bad.
We did. It was kind of a perfect storm. I think we might have picked it up at Disney and then got worse when we went down to South Florida in 107-degree heat with 99.9% humidity.
Yeah, nothing grows there.
Nothing. Not a thing.
No kind of viruses.
No. I had property in Florida because somebody else that I knew was rich and paid for it, and then I was in charge of managing it. Not because I was like some big, real estate mogul, but for a short period of time, I had real estate down in Florida, and the things you would have to do to even the inside of the property to ensure that literal dinosaur fungus would not grow on the inside of your toilet was amazing. You were constantly using harsh chemicals to ensure you couldn't open the door. Like, it was a whole thing. So yes, South Florida is full of flora and fungi, if you will. Flora, fauna, and fungi, Krissy. But I'm happy to report that it's all gone. Yes, the 3 Fs. The fucking, the fighting, and the forgetting.
Good.
It's all gone. Everybody's feeling better now. Everyone's on the mend. I think all the open wounds have managed to close themselves. But I'll tell you what I noticed when I went, I've been to 16 to 17 different school-related activities in just the last 2 weeks. Why? The kids haven't even been in school for one day, and we need a parent-teacher conference. What could you possibly know about my kid yet? You've seen him for 5 hours, and maybe they want to get prepped. And let me give you the lowdown. They're going to be terrible. They're going to tax your every nerve. They're miserable.
Oh, yours are not.
I love them. You have to go to so many meetings at the beginning of the year, orientations and teacher meetings and security and what do we do with this and tornado drills. And it just seems like a lot of...
It seems like it's a lot more than when we were
precursor activity to just going to school. Like, I don't remember my parents ever going to any kind... Maybe they did and I just wasn't aware of it. Yeah. I think maybe an orientation.
I remember like the orientation and parent-teacher conferences, but...
God, I hated those parent-teacher conferences, Krissy. Nothing filled me quite like dread after the 4th grade. Because I remember.
I was a little angel, so...
But were you really?
I was.
Were you a prissy student?
I was a good student.
Prissy prancer, as I like to call my daughters. You're prissy prancers. You go in there and you do everything correctly. Let me share with you that I was not. Yeah. This may come as a surprise to anybody who listens to the show, but I was a total shithead. And while I wasn't like a troublemaker, I didn't go out and beat up kids. I wasn't a bully or anything like that.
You just got into mischief.
I was mischievous, yes. I found that the only kind of attention that I would get was when I was being funny or clownish. And so I would do that, not in a disruptive way, but that would lead to mischief that then would lead to some kind of trouble. Like 20 to 50 pixie sticks in a hotel air conditioner on a overnight trip, on the one overnight trip we took in all of grade school.
Well, that's kind of an honest kid mistake, though, really. I mean, you can't grasp at that age that stuff really will cause damage to things unless you did know that and you did it anyways.
I think I was a pretty sharp tool. I don't know what happened over the years. I've lost that, but I think I was a pretty sharp tool. I think I understood that what we were doing in the moment was not the best thing that we could be doing, and it most likely would be frowned upon should anybody figure it out. What gets me every time, and I guess I don't know what we would have cleaned it up with, but we did all this damage to this hotel room and then thought nothing of cleaning it. We actually left it that way for everybody to find in the morning. We fell asleep on the pizza and pixie stick covered, beds, and then woke up in the morning thinking... You were
hopped up on all that sugar and then
that's
you crashed.
What I think it was. I think it was just a sugar high. And the sugar will give the kids a high. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I dreaded nothing nothing more than a parent-teacher conference night. I dreaded it because I wasn't the best student academically. I didn't apply myself. I very rarely did my homework, if ever. And the teachers, while I always felt like I had some kind of relationship with the teachers, see, I like to make the students laugh, and then I like to make the teachers laugh too.
Yeah.
So I think they thought I was a friendly kid. But, parents only suffer so much bullshit. Like, adults only suffer so much bullshit from kids. Like, I know my kid will avoid brushing his teeth all night long if he can just have a conversation with me about Disney, or he can make me laugh, or he can point out something that he's done. But I see right through it. I see what you're doing.
Takes one to know
That's
one.
right. You're avoiding your responsibility of brushing your teeth. So eventually the suffering of the bullshit, they will suffer no more. And so I just remember that distinct feeling of dread when my parents would say, so-and-so's coming to babysit you because it's parent-teacher conference night. And then I always knew there was going to be a lecture after they got home, shortly after they got home. After the babysitter was shuffled off back to her house and my dad came in the door, I knew it was going to be a sit-down conversation. And it happened almost exclusively every time. After 4th or 5th grade, by the time I got to high school, I don't even think my dad bothered showing up at any more parent-teacher conference meetings. I think he felt like, why am I taking this shit? Why am I responsible for this? He's a grown man. Let him do his own thing.
I don't really remember them in high school.
Maybe. Maybe that was just my parents being called in individually.
Right.
Maybe that was just my dad being called in individually. I do remember my parents being called in. There was
a particular time that you stands out.
I think I've told this story. Maybe I haven't. I'll share it in case I haven't. I was a freshman. I had a English teacher, like a English literature teacher. She was on the younger side. I still remember her name. I won't give it here, but she was on the younger side, so maybe she was in her 20s. And she wasn't like, hot for teacher kind of hot, but she was one of the younger teachers at a Catholic school. And so I think some of the guys thought that she was attractive, and she was friendly with some of the girls. She was like the cool teacher. Yeah, she was the cool teacher. And I remember me and this teacher had a connection. I think she gave a shit about me. I think she knew that my home life was a little bit troubled at the time. She reached out. She tried to help. I remember a couple of different occasions when there were outside school activities where she would be, like a football game, or there was a waffle. We would go to Waffle House all the time, smoke cigarettes and drink coffee. She would show up on occasion there. It wasn't unusual at that time. Listen, this was different kind of pedoing. It wasn't like, Jeffrey Epstein kind of thing. It was just like, light slap on the ass kind of pedoing. You're light pedoing, if you will. And she showed up at the Waffle House on a couple different occasions and would sit there while we were smoking cigarettes and talk to us. And so she was the cool teacher. But when we got to sophomore year, I ended up in her class again for English Lit. And halfway through the year, I remember that my parents were called in. My mom went to the school. And about a week later, I was moved out of that classroom into a different teacher's classroom.
Oh.
And my mom, without explanation, they just said, you've got a new, Bryan, you're going to this class now and I thought, what? I like that teacher. Why am I doing that? It's just a change of schedule. That's the way it is. That's what you're going to do. Okay. And my mom told me a couple of weeks later that when she was called in because there was some discomfort around the relationship that the teacher had specifically with me, and that they felt it was best that I be in another classroom.
You mean the authorities, the higher-ups?
The school did.
The school had some reservations.
And I don't know if that came from the teacher herself.
Okay.
Or, I certainly wasn't like hitting on the teacher. I'm like 15 years old. I'm not hitting on a teacher. I wasn't hitting on the teacher. I believe this may have been coming from other people in the school.
Okay.
Maybe she was getting a little too close for comfort at times with some of the students. And I was targeted
I was
part of the group. And of course I was part of the group. I was always part of the group that was targeted for discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like a poster child for discipline. They had a disciplinary officer at my school. Like, did you have one of those at your school?
I don't really remember that, no.
Yeah, I remember we had a demerit system. Did you have a demerit system?
Well, I remember like the kids getting an in-school suspension. like that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, so we had demerits. So like if your
Okay.
tie wasn't a certain length, if you were not in your classroom within a minute of the bell.
Yeah,
if you were,
that's right. Demerits.
Yeah, if you were smoking a cigarette in your car, you could get demerits. And like 3 demerits equaled, I don't know, you couldn't go to the football game or something. 5 demerits was a detention.
Sure.
10 demerits was an in-school suspension. Or you could go straight to suspension and do not pass go.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
you're
one
out.
of those things. That's right. And so there was a disciplinary officer. That was like her job was to run around. And she was like a former nun. Her job was to run around making people miserable, essentially. I remember her name too. And she was universally disliked by everybody at the school. Of course she was. But especially universally disliked by the troublemaking crowd, of which I was a part.
Your crew.
That's right, by my crew. She had eyes on us all the time. All the time. She would go to cars and look for packs of cigarettes is what she would do.
Wow.
Even though it was not particularly uncommon. This is how old I am. It was not particularly uncommon at that time for high school students to smoke cigarettes.
Oh, no. I remember smoking happening in the bathroom and stuff like that.
At our campus, at our high school campus, the year before we got there was the year that they banned smoking on campus. They had long time ago banned smoking inside the building.
Yeah.
But the students could still go outside into the common area or outside into the front of the school, outside the front of the school and smoke cigarettes. So my freshman and sometimes in my sophomore year, you could still find people out in the lawn in the front of the school smoking cigarettes. The seniors and the juniors, I think the seniors got an exemption. They were smoking cigarettes. But all of us smoked everybody smoked cigarettes. It seemed like at some point or another. But because you could not smoke them on the campus anymore, if you were smoking in your car, then you could get a demerit. And I remember that lady walking around our cars trying to see if she could find cigarette boxes, boxes of cigarettes, so she could potentially give us a demerit. Fucker. I mean, honestly.
Well, I guess it was her job.
It was her job. So I don't have to worry about any of that. None of my kids are over the age of, 8. So I'm not worried about that quite yet.
Yeah.
But I'm already at parent-teacher conferences where I don't particularly know what we're talking about the first day of school. What are we doing?
Is it just to kind of set up what is going to happen?
This is very much both the schools that all the children attend. There's 2 different schools because they're in 2 different age groups. They have a very family feel to them. Mm-hmm. And so everyone is very involved. And I like that. I think that's very important. It's something I did not have with my parents. The schools I went to were not like that. They didn't have class moms. They didn't have any of that stuff, right? They have room mothers. The PTA wasn't non-existent. Parents would just sometimes get together in groups and do stuff for fall festival or whatever. But very few of those things happened either. But at one particular school that some of my children go to, it's like every weekend there's a different thing.
Yeah.
We went. So it's a half week, right? It's the start. It's a half week. You have one day as orientation.
Got to ease them back in.
You ease them back in. Then the next day they go to school, but it's a fun day and they're there and they're figuring out their classrooms. They're not really doing much. And then the next day is a full day of school and they're kind of getting used to any new classrooms, new teachers, new students. Everyone's having a good time saying hello to each other. And in those 3 days, the parents have like 3 different things to attend. But then on Friday night, there is a picnic, like a family picnic. All these grades come and we're going to put out a huge inflatable water slide, bouncy houses. We're going to cook hot dogs. We're going to have food, games, activities. The teachers are going to paint faces. We're going to play music and all the kids are just going to go out there and party. And one of my kids comes home super excited about this.
Yeah.
But I'm clueless because do you think Bryan pays attention to that calendar? No, he does not. But he's like, we have to go. And I think to myself, what are we talking about? I don't know anything about a family fun night. I have plans. I have to put you to bed.
Yes.
I have to put you to bed. How can we? This is bedtime. How can we do this? But we go, and it's like a ton. The kids are fucking having such a great time. They're out there in the mud and the grass and riding down this, water slide that's full of additional salmonella and encephalitis and eating hot dogs and getting their faces painted and running around with their friends. And I just think to myself, this was not my education. This was not my experience as a child. And if I had even a touch of this, like where my parents came to the school and they were involved in family fun night and painting faces and having hot dogs and going down water slides, that maybe I would have enjoyed school a little bit more.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe it would have been something I actually would have looked forward to attending.
Absolutely. I remember my mom was involved. She was like room mother once or twice, and she'd put together things. And yeah, there was PTA. There was a lot of stuff. My dad wasn't that involved, but my mom was.
Yeah, but your dad was working, right?
He was, and there were 3 girls, and yeah, it was a lot.
So your mom was a part of the school. She was like in touch. She was there.
She was in touch, yeah.
Yeah, I think that also has something to do with my personal relationship with school and whether or not I felt like it was something family-ish, even though I went to a Catholic school, right? I mean, let's be honest about it. I went to a Catholic school. It's not like, Catholic schools have a reputation for a reason.
Yeah.
There's
not
a bunch of
Mormon fuzzy.
It depends on which teacher you have. And I think things may be different now. But back then, there were still nuns and priests that were teaching inside of the school. I'm sure there are still priests and nuns that are somewhat attached to the school.
Yeah.
But back then, it was more like kind of like a military academy.
And it sounds like it every time you talk about it.
Yeah, it wasn't like warm and fuzzy. And I just don't remember. Maybe there were a bunch of after-school activities for families and stuff like that, and we just didn't happen to go to them. It was also 20 miles away from my house. So I think my dad was just kind of tired at the end of the day.
Exactly.
I think he's like, I'm not driving all the way fucking downtown to take you to family fun night. I'll cook some hot dogs here.
Right.
I'm going to go up and watch the Bulls game, and you can crank up your guitar and annoy the rest of the house. How's that, Brian? Okay. But I just look at these schools now, and I think to myself, this is... for whatever shitty things are going on in today's society and the education system is broken and it's, a place is really terrible, there are certain things that I think we've made leaps and bounds on. And one of those is the parents are involved.
The involvement. Well, I think that's a generational thing too.
I think you might be right about that.
Yeah, because I think, with the generations before, it was kind of like, go out and play and do your thing, and Mommy's going to take her helpers.
But Mommy's taking her little helpers. Yeah, I'll be here smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's just a different mindset, too, especially, too, with the advent of social media,
Yeah, true.
You gotta show those cute pictures.
Yeah, there's a fucking WhatsApp
and you're
group.
You're going to be shamed if you're not involved.
There you go. And listen, all valid, great points. I also think that now parents in general are more involved in their students' life for some good and some bad. I understand that you got to be careful about helicopter parenting, and that's a real fine line. And sometimes I don't even know where it lies. I'm not claiming to be an expert on that. I'm sure I baby my children at times too much, and then I'm sure I'm probably like my dad in some ways in other places.
Yeah.
But school is not a drop-off zone, right? It's a place where you're accepting my children. That's my flesh and blood. I want to be involved in some way, shape, or form. And I get it. Not every parent can be like that. Sometimes you just have to go out there and hustle and make a living and make sure your kids are also financially taken care of. It's not for every parent to be that involved in school. And if we couldn't go to the family fun night because something else was more important, we wouldn't have gone.
Yeah.
But I went, and I just I'm making the comparisons always comparing my own experience to my children's experience and thinking to myself, holy shit, just one water slide in my life, just one encephalitis-filled, mud-slopped, dead grass-filled, swampy water slide, and my whole educational career could have been different. I could have been a doctor or a lawyer or a QuickBooks expert.
Or an accountant.
An accountant.
I was about to say.
All right. Well, listen, last week we had a ton of fun because we only recorded for like 1 hour last week. So we had a ton of fun doing nothing, basically. But we got a lot of great feedback about 2 of our guests. I'd like to talk more about them, Krissy, if you don't mind. Brett Gelman, and then we followed it up with Dusty Slay. And then I want to talk about the Royal Family of Norway, who are causing quite a stir. Have you heard about all of this?
I've heard a little bit about some stuff, but
there's some very bad boys and girls in Norway. Some criminals.
Are there affairs?
Straight up criminals. What's that?
Are there affairs going on, or
affairs and princesses marrying dun 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 black guys? Oh. But then there's like real bullshit, like, rapists and stuff like that. So,
Jeez, Norway.
Listen, we were all paying attention to Harry and Twiddle and Twaddle over there having a cockfight in the front grounds of Windsor Castle. And what we should have been paying attention to was Norway. 'Cause that's where the real drama's happening. Okay, so last week we had two different guests that we pushed out. We recorded Dusty on Thursday. We usually takes us at least a week to get the guests' interviews out just because of all the editing that needs to be done and video and stuff like that. But we decided to flip it around real quick. And we've only had Dusty out for a day, and people are really excited about Dusty Slay and his interviews. We have a lot more Dusty Slay fans than I would have anticipated that we have.
I really liked him a lot.
Did you check out Wet Heat?
I did some of it. I haven't had the chance to watch the whole thing.
When Astrid asked me about a year and a half ago, or when did the Nate Bargatze special come out? About a year ago?
Yeah, about a year ago.
Okay. So about a year ago, Astrid said, "You want to do a Netflix and chill night with me, and we'll watch Nate Bargatze. I like him." Now, I knew Nate was the guy from Nateland. I knew Nate was a very popular comedian. I'd seen many, many of his social media reels, but he never really struck me as like my favorite comedian. And I'm just an honest opinion, right? I was always like, yeah, he's funny, but sometimes you just like, you vibe with a certain type of comedy or music or whatever. It wasn't that instant. I didn't fall in love. It wasn't love at first sight, Krissy.
Okay.
But then Astrid said, "You want to Netflix and chill with the Nate special?" And I said, okay. Sometimes you got to watch stuff because your wife likes it or your husband likes it. So we watched that special, and it takes me about 20 minutes to even get into what's going on because Nate does that. He's, at least in this special, he started off so slow and plotting and thoughtful and pensive and a lot of space in between words. And I thought to myself, okay, well, I guess we're in for a night of 6 seconds in between each word Nate's going to say. But by 20 minutes in, I was really laughing so fucking hard because Nate uses his body, his eyes, and his words economically in a way where it's like we're fish, there's a hook in our mouth, and he's yanking us exactly in the direction that we want to go. He's a tactician, as I believe Dusty is. And he really got me. Now, one fuck, shit, or ass in the entire thing, I don't think there's any curse words in it. Which, again, is not my, like, I wouldn't say that I'm a guy who likes clean comedy necessarily. If it's good, it's good.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't feel like I'm one way or the other. But, if it's funny to me, then it's funny. Yeah,
that's right. It's like, gay porn, straight porn. I could really do either or as long as it's good porn. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Usually women porn when it's gay. But you don't understand what I'm saying. Okay. So the same thing happened to me with the first Dusty Slay special and now the second Dusty Slay special. I think it starts off a little bit more poppy. He's less economical with his words. He's not as slow and thoughtful as Nate is. Nate's got a very unique delivery. But Dusty's very good at what he does. And I thought that special, if we're going to give it a score, I'm going 8.75 out of 10.
Okay.
If George Carlin at the Met is like a 10 out of 10, or Mitch Hedberg is a 10 out of 10, then I'm going 8.75. 8.75, Krissy.
That's a high score.
It's a high score. But he's got to have some room to improve there because, he's got a new hour and we got to see what he does there.
Yeah, so he's already doing new stuff.
He's already doing new stuff on tour. So I just wanted to share with everybody, I think it's well worth an hour and some change of your time to go watch Dusty's special. And I don't usually, sometimes we do, but it's not every guest, it's not every comedian where I go and follow up with another recommendation to go watch his special. But I thought it was very good, and people apparently like him. People apparently like him because they're texting right away. That's another thing. Is usually people don't text at all, but now that we have Dusty on, they want to text us, tell us how wonderful Dusty is.
Well, I'm so glad we were able to make it work.
Yeah, I'm so glad something finally got you to text the commercial break. Thanks for that. And then Brett Gelman. And what do we say about Brett Gelman that he hasn't already said himself about himself? Yeah. Brett Gelman is a star in one of the most popular shows on earth. Mm-hmm. And people instantly recognize him, and they got very excited about Brett being on the show. Stranger
fantastic.
Things.
Yeah. And I have to say, I watched his show that he was talking about during the interview. And
I did
it
too.
is interesting.
I like Brett.
I love Brett. And I loved parts of the special. That's not a special, what, 6 episodes?
Yeah, I think that's being very judicious.
It was very different. But he's still him in it, and so that part was funny. And there were certainly some other parts. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. Horror, comedy horror, and mystery.
Comedy, horror, drama, mystery.
And a little of the not the occult.
A quadristomy, if you will. It's a quadristomy on Amazon.
A supernatural, maybe.
Yes,
thrown
there
in
we
there.
go. Yes. Brett told us, we spend a few minutes with the guests before the part you hear, and then after the part you hear, usually, saying salutations and greetings, just to make sure that, we're not totally raw dogging the interview. We want to say, hey, welcome to the show. I'm Krissy. I'm Bryan. Here's how it's going to go. Let us know if there's anything you do or don't want to talk about. And usually that leads to a little bit of rapport beforehand. And Brett said to us, I've got this new show. I've been toiling with it for 5 years, and finally somebody bought it. And I'm telling you right now, it's probably going to be the weirdest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. I'm very proud of it, but I don't exactly know how to explain it.
Yeah.
It's a vampire drama murder comedy. And I'm like, oh, okay, so right up my alley. Sounds right up my alley. But I'm not sure it was right up my alley. I'm just being honest.
I know.
I thought it was, it's watchable for sure.
I can see why it took a while to sell it.
I can see why some executives sat in a room, watched it, and thought to themselves, Well, how are the analytics going to deliver this one?
I like the fact that there was no previous form. It wasn't a formulaic show.
No, that's for sure. It's not a Seinfeld episode. No. It's not a show about nothing. That's for sure. It's a weird, strange mishmash of a bunch of different stuff. And I think there are some moments to great effect. But then I think there are some moments, and maybe I just need to watch the thing all the way through.
Well, yes.
Did you watch it all the way through?
Well, Jeff did. I left him with it because I had to go be somewhere. He was like, really? Then now I have to continue watching this to see what happens.
And did he finish it?
He filled me in when I got back, and he was like, yeah. It continued down the same vein.
Well, listen, Brett was great, by the way.
But Brett is incredible.
Brett is great. And there's going to be hits and misses, and not everybody's going to like everything. And I think Krissy and I, in some ways, have this similar sensibilities. So maybe it's just not for us. But you go watch it. You
Art
tell us
is
what
interpretive.
You think. Very interpretive. Mm-hmm. And Brett is been in so many things. Just all the stuff that he did on Adult Swim, I think, makes him worthy of any conversation and welcome back anytime. But then on top of that, his Stranger Things turn.
Which I'm excited to see that coming up. It's going to take up the whole holidays, right?
That's kind of the reason why I brought this up is because, we put a reel out and then I thought about this one more time. It takes some real fucking cahootses, some huge banana leaves for the executives at Netflix to say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to ruin your Christmas. We're going to ruin your Thanksgiving. And then on top of that, we're going to ruin your New Year by releasing the world's favoritist show on those 3 days so that you have no time to spend with your family and everybody's going to be watching Stranger Things because that's what's going to happen.
And maybe it'll bring families together. Maybe that was their thinking.
Hey, listen, that too, but there's going to be guys and girls who want to watch football and have to make a big decision about which one. I guess the good news is on streaming.
You can play it anytime.
Yeah. I wonder, there's probably a lot of guys out there who are going to watch Stranger Things first and then watch the football game on repeat. I mean, it takes a lot of balls to put this up against the sports and the other traditional things that you watch on Thanksgiving, like football, basketball on Christmas, the Thanksgiving Day parade, New Year's Eve celebrations, or all of the bowl games that'll be on January 1st. This is a fuck you to the conventional entertainment industry, I think is what this is.
Well, when you've got a hit, milk it.
Yeah. But you gotta know, you gotta know for sure. You got the numbers to compete, to pull people away from other stuff. And so Netflix must, and they don't give away their streaming numbers. So you don't really know. Are 1 billion people watching every season? Are there 300 million people? But I think, if I'm not mistaken, Stranger Things is one of the most streamed television shows in history. I think Friends and Seinfeld and other stuff like that certainly have, in The Office.
They came out with a new Office or a new type of Office show. Did you see that? It's called The Paper.
Really?
Yeah, and it's about, they're doing that same documentary style thing.
Is this the follow-up that what's her name was talking about on our show? Is it by Greg Daniels?
I don't know, but it's very, very similar take on this, and the Oscar plays a role in it too.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, I just watched the trailer for it the other day.
The Paper show. Let me see. The follow-up to The Office.
Yeah.
The Paper. 1 season. And where is this going? Where can we see this, Krissy?
Peacock, maybe? I don't even know for sure that's actually out yet, because I went to go watch it, and I think it's coming soon.
Alex Edelman is in it. This is the official, following up on the story The Office, the documentary crew that immortalized Dunder Mifflin's Scranton branch discovers a disappearing Midwest newspaper, and the publisher trying to revive it with reporters. This mockumentary follows the daily lives and dreams of blah, blah, blah.
It looks pretty funny, but it's going to be hard to recreate that same magic.
There's going to be no chance that they recreate that. I'll give it a chance.
I'll give it a chance too.
Okay,
like I said, Oscar's in it.
Okay, ready? Let's listen.
And I like the one that Oscar's like, no fucking way I'm doing this again.
Okay.
Innovate sells products made out of paper. Toilet tissue, toilet seat protectors, and local newspapers. And that is in order of quality.
Here is one of my articles I'm particularly proud of. I'm scrolling, and I'm learning a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's got potential.
I'm 30 seconds in and I see where this is going. All right. Okay. I'll give it a jander.
Too.
The thing about I hope it does great. It's hard to make magic happen twice. To lightning strike twice in the exact same tone and texture that it did. Few movies have done it. Even fewer television shows have done it. I mean, think of a sequel television show that's really, really done well. Which one is that? You know? Yeah. I can't think of it. SpongeBob Square. I mean, I don't know. I don't know which sequel television show that I can even think of that did well at all. So my opinion is like, go for it. You know, West Wing is one of my favorite television shows of all time.
Yes.
And for decades now, almost, they've been talking about rebooting the West Wing.
Better Call Saul. That is one I can think of.
Okay.
But it's very rare.
It's very rare. And even though the stories marry at the end, you know the ending point. You see where it's going. You understand what the end is going to be. It is so original. There is so much difference in the two television shows besides the one character or the couple characters that marry those universes. It is so much different in a lot of ways that it stands on its own.
Yeah.
You could never watch Breaking Bad and watch Better Call Saul and only would need to understand the ending of Breaking Bad, maybe the last 4 episodes. But this seems like a carbon copy.
Yeah.
But then again, The Office was a carbon copy of another television show called The Office.
This is true.
And did much better than the original Office, even though a lot of people point to the original. I didn't like the original Office. That was the British version.
It wasn't my thing either. I tried.
I thought it was a little mean-spirited, where there was something very soft and sweet about. And
but Steve Carell. I mean, that's the thing. You got Steve Carell with the original Office, and he's one of a kind.
Steve Carell.
Yeah, it's hard. It's going to be hard to drop that type of character into the new one.
Jim, Pam, Steve, Dwight Schrute, and then fill it in with all the background characters that did such a fucking fantastic job,
They really
each and every
did.
one of them. becomes their own little nugget, their own little jewel. You want to hear what they have to say. Each time they pop up on screen, you're happy that they're there. There's not a dud in the group. Like even Kelly Kapowski.
Oh.
I want to see Kelly Kapowski.
Yeah, no, all of them.
Yeah.
Were fantastic.
Yeah. So here's to hoping that they find the same kind of chemistry. But that chemistry also, there's a magic that happens there. What's her name? What was her name was on the show?
Yes.
Meredith. I can't remember her name now. Why can't I remember her name? Anyway, Meredith, the lady who played Meredith was on our show. And she said, if I had one regret in life, it's that I didn't sit in those moments, sit in that, like when we were filming, when we were there, when we were the hottest thing since sliced bread, and realize what a magic moment this really is, that you don't usually get this twice, right? All these people making this kind of television history in a way that is really gelling, and you just kind of sit there and absorb it. So here's to hoping.
We'll see.
I hope.
Sorry, I took you off topic, though. We were just talking about streaming and shows and The Office.
Yes. Well, here's what I was going to say about streaming. My larger point about streaming and television is that the television is really, finally, officially broken. It's just broken. Late night television is soon to be gone. I don't think Jimmy Kimmel will renew his contract. We already know what's happening at the Late Show. The great, great Late Show with Stephen Colbert is unfortunately, we can all argue about reasons, but is unfortunately no longer going to be around.
He's got to pop up somewhere else, though.
He will be on a podcast, and it will be on video, and he will be probably as popular as Conan Needs a Friend. Conan did the right thing.
Yeah.
Conan went where the viewership was,
that's
the
true.
earballs were, and he has largely made a ton of fucking money and gotten all the cachet that he needs doing a podcast just like we do. He has exactly the same amount of cachet that the commercial break does.
Yes.
Conan,
so
open
similar.
invitation to come on the show. I don't even think we get a lot of people on this show, but I don't even think Conan's people accept our phone calls when we say, hey, can you go
Probably
get
not.
Conan? I don't even think they return emails. Because they see us as a threat, Krissy. That's why, really. Okay. But everybody's gone. Stern is probably likely. Now, the old guard of television and radio are officially dead. Podcasting, vodcasting, whatever the fuck we're calling it these days, is the new medium, and streaming. But Netflix accomplished something that I think even they may not have intended to do, and that is break television. It will never be the same again. And I say that because late night is a beloved format, but it hasn't been relevant in years.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, a lot of people aren't watching the main networks anymore, except for sports.
Yeah, that's it. And that's really the only reason television exists. Those channels exist. Reruns, sports, and prestige TV. That's it. If you give them a reason to come, like a Breaking Bad or a Better Call Saul, you'll get them to show up once a fucking week. Otherwise, stream it and try and figure out how to get someone to pay $4.99 a month for it. We tried to get someone to figure out how to pay $4.99 a month for this, and we got one subscriber. One, guys. Now,
your
granted,
brother.
that was episode 10 when we were trying to do that. But all right, we're way past the break. Let's take a break. ShopTCBpodcast.com. The window is closing this Friday, so if you do not order your merch by this Friday, then unfortunately for you, you will not be able to order the merch. And don't come begging and asking me whether you can get the merch and do you have any extra? Because we won't, and we don't. We're not giving it to you. You have to buy it this time, but maybe next time we'll give it to you. You know, we have all been paying attention to Harry and Bob, or whatever the other guy's name is, and their wives and all the mischief that they've been up to. We have all been paying attention to them entirely too much, in my opinion. I said this when,
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a
Queen
big
passed.
royal,
No.
obsessive royal person.
But you know what I can get into? I can get into Meghan Markle with that girl on that podcast. Have you seen those clips going around? I'll play one for you, okay? Let me play one for you. Meghan podcast interview. Interview. I don't even have to put her last name. It'll already know who I'm talking about. Here you go. Quote unquote, the most insufferable conversation ever. Are you ready for this? Okay, here we go.
Great.
All right, here's part one.
First question, because I think in friendship it's so important. And I think so many people also have this question for you is, Meghan, how are you? And are you okay?
That's so kind. I am. I'm better than okay. How are you?
I know you always make it about me. Today, which by the way, I just have to say, you are the most generous friend. You show up for your friends. Today, I just get to talk about you, which I'm excited
Who
about.
is that?
But how are you doing?
This is a girl that I have no idea. I had no idea this person existed. Hold on, let me see. Jamie Kern Lima, the host of the Jamie Kern Lima Show podcast, which is a terrible name for a podcast. The Jamie Kern Lima Show podcast. Okay, all right, if that's not confusing enough. Also a guest shark on Shark Tank, best-selling author and founder of It Cosmetics.
Okay.
Her voice
Pretty big.
is, now a lot of people have said this about me too, so I'm not throwing stones in a glass house, but her voice drives me crazy. It is a valley girl with all of that, what do they call that? Throat, whatever it is.
You watch as you're building their confidence and their self-esteem. A word that I use a lot with them is yet. And how to reframe things for a kid when they're like, I can't do it. I can't do it yet. No, I'm not good.
Well, anyways, look, we're
Listen,
focused on her
listen,
now.
listen.
Let's.
Yeah.
The more that you put into practice these ideas of like, put yet at the end of nearly every sentence and you feel like there's still hope and a promise that you can do it.
Yes.
But when I type that to my children before I go to bed, guess what? Like I'm teaching that to them or I'm reinforcing that, but I'm also reinforcing it for myself.
Yes.
Like, I don't know yet. I'm not sure.
I was just going to say that applies to every adult. That applies to me right now, all of us.
Yeah.
Yet. Oh, such a powerful word. Yet. Krissy, we haven't gotten that $20 million contract yet. Krissy, neither of us have been to jail yet. Krissy, we haven't died yet.
Yeah.
It's in-fucking-sufferable. So while we're all paying attention to these folks, guess what's happening in Norway?
Do tell.
Norway is the
I'm
real
excited.
drama. Okay.
I mean, it's cold there. They've got a cool train, I think, that goes up through the Arctic Circle. They've got the Northern Lights. Give me some good stuff.
Norway sounds like a great place, right?
Yeah.
Home of beautiful
beautiful.
people. But apparently, and home to some of the most popular royals in the world by population. They are extraordinarily popular with their population, which is a very small population, by the way. Not a ton of people live in Norway.
I didn't even realize they had royals still.
They do, and don't ask me how it works. I don't know if it's a royal republic. I don't know who fucking knows. I don't know. But Spain still has royals. Did you know that? But the son of Norway's crown prince, who is not he's not a direct descendant of the royals. He is from a one-night stand that she had with a former criminal before she met the prince.
Oh, okay.
This is as dramatic as it can come. But he's been in the spotlight since he was a child, and he's been in trouble since he was a child. He's been arrested for drugs. He was arrested for assault. He's been in all kind of trouble. Just yesterday, he was arrested on 4 counts of grape. I'm not going to say the word because then it'll get banned. 4 counts of grape.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And essay.
Jeez.
Yes, and essay. So figure that one out too. This is how all the kids are doing it these days, so you don't get banned by YouTube. He admitted to causing bodily harm to a woman while he was under the influence of cocaine and alcohol, and he additionally had to pay restitution after he trashed an apartment that he was renting. This guy is like completely
wild.
Out of fucking control. There's a picture of him.
Oh, yeah. I've seen stuff about him.
Anytime you got the dual earrings still in 2025, either that's a Norway thing or you're just a troublemaker. I mean, I don't know anybody who wears 2 earrings anymore. But okay, but then that's not all, because then the sister of the crown prince is 48 years old, and about a couple of years ago, she came to America and she met a black man. Mm-hmm. A black man, right, is probably enough to cause a whole stir in Norway. I think, now I don't know, because I'm not claiming that Norway's a racist country. I don't know. I'm sure they have their prejudices just like every other country in the world. But you can imagine that the white as snow Norway royal family.
Well, I was going to say they might just have a prejudice against anybody that's not blonde.
True. That's true. Blonde and blue-eyed, right? And I don't know that to be the truth either. I'm sure there are black people who live in Norway and are living, perfectly fine. I'm not going to put words in anybody's mouth, but this has caused quite a stir amongst the tabloids and all this other stuff. And not only is this a mixed couple in a very stodgy royal family, but then go one step further. And this guy claims to be a non-human alien who can regenerate his own cells, limbs, eyeballs. He claims to be from an outer space, a different universe. He's clairvoyant, and he's here to save the world. He is a guru, a clairvoyant guru out of California. He is a wild, wild character. And he's marrying or married into the royal family. So now a direct descendant, or a descendant, not a direct descendant, but a descendant for the royal family, where they spent over $3.5 million to get married in the beautiful slopes of Norway, where Stevie Wonder played the wedding.
Okay.
Stevie fucking Wonder. I love you, Stevie. I love you. Get your bag. Play that wedding with the alien regenerative.
Yeah, why not?
It's insane. The story is insane.
Go off, Norway.
Go, Norway. Yeah, it was your time to step up. We haven't heard much from you in the last couple of years.
Let's get some other royal scandal things going on.
The last time we heard from you, there were a couple of other American men running around trying to repopulate your... Wasn't that in Norway, where all those ladies bought that sperm from that...
Oh, was that in Norway?
Was Norway or Sweden? Was it Norway or Sweden? I can't remember.
Yeah,
I thought it was
like
Norway,
Denmark or Belgium,
something like that.
Yeah.
They were up there somewhere in the Nordic. And this is just awesome to me. I mean, I think this is so funny. And now the whole royal family's popularity is just plunging. And people who were for the royals are now against the royals, and the tabloids are going wild, and the whole family is under scandal and scrutiny. I mean, we're paying attention to Charles bickering with, the two boys. And what we should have been paying attention to the whole time was the
Norway.
How do you call it? The Norish? Are
Norwegian?
they Norwegian? There you go. Norish.
They're Norish.
God, you're Norish. The Norrish royals are crazy. They're insane.
I love this.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn on my alerts for that one.
Let me see if I can read more about this guy for you. Hold on one second.
I do remember reading about this, but all I saw that was he was maybe like a self-help guy.
He's a self-help guru,
life coach.
Yeah, he's a life coach. But then he claims he can regenerate his own body, and
that always goes well for those people that claim that.
Yeah, listen, I I don't even know.
He might be the first, though. Who knows?
Yeah, royal scandal, wedding. Hold on one second. Yes. How
with the Norrish.
Martha Louise's wedding. How Princess Martha Louise's wedding to U.S. shaman has stirred up controversy.
Oh, even better.
Princess Martha Louise, 52, will marry celebrity shaman. I think this was last year. They got engaged in 2019. In 2022, she dropped her duties as a royal to work on the couple's commercial interest. Let's see. I want to find out more about the guy. Local media locked out of the wedding, but it's rumored that Netflix confirmed it's creating a documentary that follows the couple's story. Yes, good for you, Netflix. You may have broken TV, but at least you got the good documentaries.
They do.
All right, and then who is this guy? We got to find out the drama surrounding the wedding. To be fair, when Princess Martha got engaged, no one expected a run-of-the-mill wedding. The daughter of King Harold and Queen Sonja, the fourth in line to the Norwegian throne, has always lived an unconventional lifestyle. A self-proclaimed clairvoyant and alternative therapist, she once...
so she was already in that world.
Yeah, she was already in that world.
Mm-hmm.
She once opened up an angel school that taught healing techniques, as well as how to contact your celestial relatives.
She's the Teresa Caputo of the Norway. Of the Norrish.
Yes. After much criticism in 2019, the royal court confirmed she would no longer be using her title as a princess during her business activities. In 2022, she stopped doing royal activities altogether. Meanwhile, Verrett, her husband, has battled accusations of promoting pseudoscience and has a long history of legal troubles. During the pandemic, Verrett came under fire for selling a medallion that he argued could ward off COVID-19.
Oh, no.
Yet even with all this considered, the lead up to the nuptials is causing more of an unexpected stir. Odd behavior. For instance, Verrett told news outlets, although the couple was introduced by a mutual friend, they'd actually met in a past life.
Yes, duh.
Who hasn't?
Yeah.
I find I have memories of us in Egypt, and she was my queen and I was a pharaoh, he told People magazine, the most reputable of magazines. Yet soon, papers began accusing the shaman of spreading misinformation. He's been talking about removing bad spirits from children, said a journalist for the Norwegian newspaper. In 2021, he left me a series of voicemails and tried to convince me of the existence of the Illuminati in Norway. It's kind of important that people know just how far outside the normal he is. Before I met him, Martha told Vanity Fair, I never thought there was any racism in Norway. Normally, the press office of the royal family will share images of a wedding to multiple news outlets at no cost due to public interest. However, the couple has instead decided to only give one publication an exclusive for their wedding. That will be with Hello magazine.
Good old Hello.
And they sold their wedding photos, apparently, for millions of dollars. This has caused quite the uproar with the press. To avoid conflict, the head of communications of the royal family has said that the rest of the Norwegian family will refrain from taking other photos at the wedding. Wow, it's just like
that's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's these two. These are the two I want to have on the show.
Definitely.
I love you, Dusty, but before I get a follow up with you, I want to have Queen Martha on the show.
Yes.
Bella, make it happen. Make it so. Bella doesn't listen to our show, but if Bella did, I want Queen Martha and Verrett on our show and see what's going on. I want to talk to them and their past lives and see what kind of
They seem interesting, spicing things up.
Hey, listen, there is a podcast out there, and I'm not going to name the podcast because the guy has supposedly 13 million followers on Instagram, but I think about 500,000 of those might be real. If you know who I'm talking, if you know, you know. IKYNKDY. And I think he's a total charlatan. But anyway, he has all these people on who claim they were past lives and they can, speak to angels and weird beings. And he always makes these like clickbaity type reels. But every once in a while, I see a reel from his account. And I'm like, I would like to have one of those people on. There's like the people who speak they're in past lives and they're speaking as if they're the person from the past life.
Right.
Kind of like, who was that famous person who did that once? What was her name? Wasn't there the lady who said she was the queen of, who was it? Not Mariel Hemingway? No, not Mariel Hemingway. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, she did say something about past life stuff.
Yeah, wasn't she like, Cleopatra or something in a past life? And she showed up on Barbara Walters as Cleopatra. I think that stuff is so wild. And I'd love to hear more about it, especially if it's the Queen of Norway. You just can't get much better than that. So anyway, the Royal Family of Norway, we're keeping an eye on you. You are on the radar of the commercial break for good, bad, or indifferent. We have you in our sights. All right.
I like it.
Keeping an eye on it.
You can be the royal correspondent.
I am going to be the royal correspondent.
Norway edition.
Yes. I'm calling in Queen Martha and Prince Verrett for a parent-teacher conference.
Yes.
Come to the commercial break. Come to the commercial. And try and be on time. Respect our time. Okay. All right. No one's going to get that. Anyway, while we're speaking about it, since we were speaking about it, many thanks to Dusty Slay for coming in, and to Brett, quite frankly. DustySlay.com. Go listen to the interview, watch the special. You know how to do it. ShopTCBpodcast.com. ShopTCBpodcast.com. Hats, hoodies, t-shirts, university sweaters, all right there. Pre-order them now. They'll be shipped out in the next week or so. And when you get your gear, tag us on Instagram, and we will throw you up on the Instagram, and we're going to be giving away some additional free merch. But you got to make sure you tag us on Instagram to do that. 212-433-3TCB. 212-433-3822. Questions, comments, concerns, content ideas. We've been getting so many text messages, Krissy. Nice words for you, nice words for Astrid, mainly ignoring me, and then telling us that they have, in fact, bought the merch. I got South Georgia Sean and a bunch of the regulars just letting us know that they're supporting the show. So very sweet of all of you.
Yes, thank you.
We really appreciate it. And I'd like to get South Georgia Sean on the show soon because he has some stories about catching an alligator or something.
He's got to have just a wealth of stories.
He sent me a picture the other day. And in a totally I'm married kind of way, he's a handsome dude. I'll show you the picture. He's a handsome dude. Not what you would expect. You would not expect this to be South Georgia Sean. Anyway, all right. TCBpodcast.com. That is the website. You can pre-order the merch there. Also, all the audio, all the video right there from one location. At the commercial break on Instagram to tag us and keep up with us and all that good stuff. And youtube.com/thecommercialbreak for all the videos the same day they air here on the audio. Go follow and subscribe. Okay, Krissy, that's all I can do for now.
I think so.
Tell you that I love you.
And I love you.
Best to you.
Best to you.
Best to you out there in the podcast universe. Until next time, Krissy and I will say, we do say, and we must say,
Goodbye.